So just by a show of hands, how many of you not are going to vote for reform, but would consider voting for Nigel Farage and reform to send a message? Good to know. I am the child. I'm going to make the case for a wasted vote for something that isn't going to make a difference. I agree with 50% of what Peter just said. I think we are on the cusp of a very radical Labour government that is going to preside over the acceleration of mass immigration, the mainstreaming of woke ideology, a complete revision of our constitutional settlement, and the strengthening of a social democratic consensus in this country. I agree with all of that. But I am not going to fall into the trap of believing that the best response to that is to put my faith in a party which over the last 14 years has consistently sold this country down the river. That is not going to happen. Peter wants to wake up the morning after the election feeling as though he's done his bit in stopping the Labour tide. I want to wake up the morning after the election and feel as though I've done my bit in laying a foundation for a more credible, representative and responsive alternative to the Labour Party for the next 50 years. That's why I'm going to be voting for the Reform Party. If you want serious opposition to mass immigration, if you want serious opposition to illegal migration, if you want a response to the crisis at the borders, if you want the only manifesto that has actually outlined a meaningful response to woke ideology that is going to say, actually, we're not going to teach our kids to hate Britain. We're not going to teach our kids to be ashamed of our history. We're not going to teach our kids that a boy can become a girl and a girl can become a boy. We're not going to allow our government departments to be openly politicised and be biased against the things that make us and us, our collective memory, our history, our identity. Then you have to start to invest in something that is actually going to give you a meaningful alternative to what is the uniparty. Labour and the Conservatives are indistinguishable. Big state, big tax, big net zero, big immigration, big regulation, big woke, or at least woke adjacent, at least enabling everything that is opposed to who we are. And we're supposed to buy into this because it's slightly an alternative to Keir Starmer and the Labour Party. No, what we need is creative destruction. What we need is to kill the Tory party. If the Tory party, as the polls this morning suggest, falls to 50 seats, I will be celebrating. Because the Tory party does not deserve to exist in its current form. Here's one thing Boris Johnson did that you might not know. He removed the requirement for British companies to advertise jobs in Britain before they advertise them overseas. The Tory party does not care about this country. The Tory party cares about the Tory party. So why vote reform? Simple reason. At this election, send Rishi Sunak and the Tories a big, loud message. We're not tolerating this anymore. We actually believe in Britain. Step 2, vote reform in 2029. Vote for a party that will actually win 50 to 100 seats. Demand that Nigel Farage ups his game. Demand that he puts a coalition around him of serious people, experienced people. Demand that reform become more than they are today. Except, like me, Farage doesn't have the answers to Britain's problems. The Reform Party does not have the answers to Britain's problems, but they're asking the right questions. Do we want to continue with mass immigration? Do we want to allow radical Islam to embed itself in British society? Do we want to buy into net zero for the next 100 years? Do we want a London-centric economy? Do we want to prioritise financial services over everybody else? Do we want to teach our kids to hate who they are? Or do we want something else? If you want something else, the answer is clear. Labour's already won this election. It's over. It's over. It's finished. Go into the polling station next Wednesday, put your cross next to reform, and send the system a message that you want to build something else.
Matt Goodwin, ladies and gentlemen.